time to travel back to BLOCKCON. Join me for this amazing series where we get to talk to blockheads who attended the first ever BLOCKCON convention in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah.
Thank you for having me and asking me to come on and play and talk about all things that we love so dearly.
Well, welcome, Deb. And thank you for being like a follower of this podcast for the longest time already. I really appreciate the fact that you're already a listener and a fan of the show. So thank you.
Absolutely. It's easy to love something that you connect with so easily, and you do a great job of making us feel like we're right back in whatever it is that you're talking about in that episode.
Right there again.
Yeah.
That's what you want. So Deb, where are you located? Like what state are you in?
I am in Massachusetts, just right outside of Boston. So born and bred. I like to joke, you only get my Boston accent after a few cocktails. It does sometimes happen, but I was one of those city kids that got a scholarship up to a boarding school. So I pretty much lost my accent and never got it back. But yeah.
Oh, wow. No way. But you whip it out when it's necessary.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good. And the picture you just showed me was from the mixtape tour, wasn't it? So if we can explain
the shirt that I wore that they're not going to see. Yeah. So
that they're not going to see.
They're not going to see it, but I recreated.
But they can see it in the social media because we'll post the picture.
So it's actually the framed picture behind me that I bought from Paris Vizone, who was the tour photographer for Mixtape 2022. And one of the highlights, I know today we're talking about BLOCKCON, is that I got to show this to Paris. So I had asked her, I was like, is there any way you would send me the digital photo or image, the digital file of the photo that I bought from you? And she was like, oh yeah, totally. Absolutely. And the funny thing is, some mistakes were made when I was trying to make this. So I ended up with one for every day. So I was like, I guess that's my theme for BLOCKCON. And I literally had a different one on every day. But I don't think a lot of people got to really see it because I had a jacket on and then, the lanyard is in the middle of it. So I had to kind of flash people for them to see it. But Paris got to see it and I got to show it to her, which was lovely. So yeah, I don't know if anyone ever put one of her images on a shirt before,
but we'll put it on our social media. It's a photo of you up there singing with the guys and Rick Astley, or dancing.
Yeah, so this was a fluke. This was like, I was one of those people that I went to, so this was July of last year and the last night in Boston, and I went by myself to the show without a ticket. And I was like, I just feel like I need to be there. I'm going to figure it out. I go to the box office. I'm like, hey, what do you have available? And he was letting me know. And I was like, I'm only 5 feet tall. I don't want to sit that high up and like pay that much. He's like, why don't you come back in like a half an hour? I was like, all right, cool. I come back and I was like, all right, what do you got now? Like, let's look at the map together. And I was like, I was kind of not totally sold on it. And God bless this man. I literally still have his name on a Post-it note because I want to send him a nice care package. I need to find out if he's a recovering alcoholic because I want to give him a big basket of booze. But if he is, that's not an appropriate gift. So
yes,
I'm trying to be sensitive to that. But he basically handed me a comp ticket and just said, have a good night. So I went by myself into the venue. And then I started going on social media to say, hey, what friends of mine are in the building? I'd love to say hi. And I got to see people I went to high school with or that I used to work with in radio, and just saw all these people. And then I knew the show was coming to an end, and I knew I didn't want to get stuck in the crowd and miss the last T. That's the subway in Boston, the MBTA, Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, if you want an accent there. So I went to leave, and I turned around, and that's when Donnie says, get your ass up here. This is Boston. And I just thought, okay, this is my moment. I now go. And so I knew to turn my phone on, and I was walking down toward the stage, and they opened up the stage and like, yes, of course, right this way. And I was like, did I swear on this? Do people swear?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. And the music hits, and it was an absolute out-of-body experience that I just threw my arms out like airplane wings and just flew and just glided around the stage. And the biggest compliment I got was people saying they enjoyed how much fun the guys had seeing how much fun I was having. So for me to like give them back some joy for what they have brought to my life for decades was an amazing experience. I had my phone up and I'm like, Rick Astley singing into my phone and Salt and Pepper. And I'm like, this is amazing. And I walk up to my favorite, clearly Joe.
Joseph.
And he's like, you're not recording, right? What? So my hand must have hit my phone. All I have is like confetti on the floor. Like I didn't have any footage. So I put a message out. I hadn't really discovered all the Facebook groups yet. So I joined a whole bunch of Facebook groups. I still can't keep track of them. And I just put out on my Instagram, on Facebook, do I know anybody that was there? This experience just happened. And all I have is this one selfie with Joey McIntyre. And when I tell you, the Blockhead fandom showed up. So many people that I've never met sent me videos and photos from all different angles throughout the venue. And it was amazing. And what's cool is that there was one woman who stopped me outside the venue because she recognized the jacket that I wore, which I had custom made for GPS night, which is a cruise thing. But she ended up sending me footage. She ended up being on my floor on the cruise. And we just got to hang out at BlockCon together. So it's like, this is a perfect example of how these beautiful friendships can start. Just being present and being in the moment and being ready for whatever opportunity presents itself and just going for it and not even thinking about it.
I just love that story. Oh, what an experience for you.
So yes, I decided I needed to have that in my home office.
Of course. I would put that photo everywhere in my life. I'd be seeing it 24/7. It'd be on my phone, home screen, all of it. But thank you so much, Deb, for sharing that. And now, of course, we're here to talk about BlockCon today.
Yes.
The very first annual BlockCon that ever happened. Now, did you go to Wahlburgers for the WallCon the day before?
So yeah, so I flew in and I went with my good friend Carly. So I actually didn't have a direct flight and had to go through Atlanta. And I was like, Carly, get on this flight. So I'll pick you up in Atlanta. So that's what we did. And we did rent a car and we did drive out to Wahlburgers on Thursday. And there was hundreds of people there. I mean, we were like, messaging with people that we knew were there to say, are you guys inside? Are you outside? And some people had already gotten in on the patio. We definitely did not even get in the building. But what was interesting is like, you and I got to meet immediately. And I was like, wait, Naomi, oh my God, hi, so good to meet you. And I got to meet Rebecca from the Meow Meow crew. And I got to see Cheryl again. And it was both of their birthdays that day, which was wonderful. So just giving so many hugs to so many people. And I think that Carly and I arrived, got a coffee at the Starbucks because I was like, oh, I have to use the bathroom. And we definitely can't get into the Wahlburgers to go pee. So I was like, oh, I'll get a coffee. We were there maybe 5 minutes. Oh, and Donnie Wahlberg and Danny Wood drive up. And we're like, we didn't wait in line for hours. We're just standing here. I guess we're here. We should go do the thing. So we walk over and go get a selfie. And that was the extent of our excitement. But it was, I'm sending the picture to like my boyfriend or to my parents. And the best response I got from my stepmom is she was like, is that a cardboard cutout? No, it's a human being. Because Donnie's teeth are like so perfect and he's such a professional that he makes it look like you've been hanging out all day. But in reality, you're there for like half of a second. But he makes you feel immediately welcome and loved. And his ability to genuinely connect with so many people, it's amazing to me. I don't know how he does it.
It's a gift. It's not something you see commonly, that somebody can be so amazingly giving to each person and make them feel special.
And make them feel
unreal.
Seen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gift.
We're lucky.
And if he's listening, we really appreciate it. And
yes.
No, we love you.
We
We're
do.
all Donnie girls. We're all Donnie girls.
It's hard not to be.
So yeah, we kind of did the same thing because we had gone to Wahlburgers the day before to actually eat and experience the inside. So we showed up to just visit friends in the lineup. So I hope people out there didn't think we were butting in, because that's not what we were doing. We didn't go in. We just wanted to visit people. We were giving out our Meow Meow bracelets and our Dope Nostalgia bracelets.
Yep.
And stickers and all those things, and just visiting with all the friends. And we got our selfies too. So that was nice.
Absolutely.
When you think about the show, the
Oh,
actual concert, the first night of BLOCKCON.
yes.
Favorite moments, favorite deep cuts. What was one of your highlights?
So it's funny, preparing to chat with you today about this, I actually rewatched a lot of my footage. And I was actually texting with Carly earlier today because I'm rewatching like the opening.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally had like buckets of tears of joy sitting in my office on like a random Monday, like good almost 3 weeks later. Like it's just, I was immediately transported back to that experience where it was like, who would have thought in the 80s that we would be in a space in Chicago in 2023, hearing the music that never got played on the radio, but everybody in that room knew all the words, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What an amazing lifetime experience. And it's one of those things that who knows if they'll ever try to recreate it. There's no two shows are ever going to be exactly the same, right? But there was something about hearing the stuff that you never thought you'd hear again and hearing them perform it. Like they worked really hard on that set list. They curated an exceptional, not just show, but the whole weekend, an exceptional fan experience for the audience who would appreciate it the most.
Yep.
I think the deep cuts that hit me the hardest was when they play stuff off Face the Music. Because I think back to when I was in college and I would get on a Greyhound bus I would be smuggling like, you have your like, water bottle that's not clear, but you'd have like Zima in it because that's what you drank in 1992 or 1993 or 1994. Like that's what we drank in college. And I went to Theater of Living Arts in Philadelphia and I got myself to Hammerjacks in Baltimore. I went to college down in Washington, D.C. And I feel like the people that were at those shows were the people that were like, I'm not giving up on them. I don't care that John fell off a horse. That's the story that they told us back then. Right. There was 4 of them on those small club dates, but it was like the faithful, right? And it makes me think about when I worked in radio, this was maybe 97, and I was talking all about the new kids, right? But they had officially broken up at that point. And I had a boss who said to me, Deb, you can't be loyal to something that's over. And I said, but they're not over. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know how it's going to transpire, but they're not done yet. Yeah. So when 2008 came around, I was like, fuck yeah. So yeah.
Called it. And the thing is, I'm so glad that they, not only that they got back together for us and all the amazing music then and stuff they've done since they got back together, but when you think about it, I'm so glad they didn't leave it the way it was left.
It was, all the Jordan girls will love this, it was unfinished.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Absolutely.
I'm getting my feels. What kind of things did you learn from the panels?
Oh boy, what did I learn from the panels? I loved how, so there was about 4,000 of us in a room that somehow they made us feel like we were hanging out in their living room with them. They were so relaxed. They were uncensored. They were playing off of each other in such an organic, natural way that we heard about things that we definitely didn't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff none of us will ever know, right? And that is how life should be, right? There are some things that are meant to be kept private, but they gave us, like, they opened the door a little bit. They let us in and they shared what they felt comfortable with us learning about. Cat farts, dog farts. Who knew? So much conversation. What I want to know is if Danny and Donnie fart like dogs and Jordan and John fart like cats, where's Joe in the mix?
He doesn't fart.
I mean, he has to, right? I mean,
he didn't elaborate on his farts, did he? No,
he did not. So there's like, the unspoken next BLOCKCon, we want a whole panel. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Wouldn't line up with that question. But so at least 3,000 sick bastards in one room.
Yes, absolutely.
Taking it all in.
Well, and rewatching some of the footage today, like we were howling, we were cackling, we were laughing so hard we were crying. Like we could listen to them all day, right? How amazing was it to have Doug Nichols there and hear about the making of their first 4 videos? And how amazing was it for us to see them seeing photos they had never seen before and having them initially react to something that, what is it Joe said, that we all thought we had seen everything, everything is all over the internet. Like, so to have those kind of
emotional,
yes,
for them.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course, the Flavor Flav moment. I mean, just can we get Flavor Flav on the next panel? Like, can we just hear about his point of view from that experience?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty fantastic. I was impressed that Donnie calls it Canada, because we in our group of friends always call it Canada as like a joke to each other. I don't know who started it in the group, but I think it was the HPG squad. They call it Canada.
Okay.
And to hear Donnie call it that, I was like, okay, well, has he been listening in on our conversations? That's pretty cool.
That is pretty awesome. And I think Sonal was the best person for the job.
Mm-hmm.
To have someone who was a fan and that is someone who interviews people for a living, mm-hmm. She just knocked it out of the park. Like, sorry, my phone is ringing. I'm busy right now. Mm-hmm. I just thought she was awesome. And I think it's safe to say we all want to be her friend, right? She was able to say all the things that we thought, like, yeah, we all hated the girls in the video. Yeah, absolutely. Because we wanted to be them, right?
Calling it the brothel.
The Boston Brownstone brothel. And I actually recognize where that was shot. I know where in Boston, I'm pretty sure where that was. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was pretty cool to see both versions of the Please Don't Girl video together. Yeah.
Very cool. I really like the reacts to that. And I think a lot of that, we've seen reactions to that on Rat Tail, of course.
Yes, of course.
That video, as well as this one's for the children. So I love that Donnie brought up Striped Shirt Kid.
Oh my God, yeah. We have to find that kid now, right? Yeah. Doug said that was filmed in Santorini. So it's a Greek kid.
Okay.
So blockheads that are in Santorini, Greece, does that kid look familiar? Do you know who he is?
We need our blockhead detectives on this.
Yes.
Finding the Striped Kid, and report to Chris and Adrian from Rat Tail when you find the Striped Kid.
And they will get you in touch with Donnie, and you will be a featured guest on the next panel at the next BlockCon for sure.
Well, no guarantees, but
Well, you know what? If you say it, if you visualize it, you manifest it, you put it out there, it might happen.
I want to see it. I want to see Striped Kid on the panel, and him and Danny have a hug, hug it out.
They do. And Danny has to wear a striped shirt at that panel.
Yeah, so that's going to be for Rat Tail to put together.
For sure.
That is their baby.
It is, and they would, I think, knock that one out of the park as well.
And if you haven't subscribed to Rat Tail on YouTube yet, you should, because you're going to laugh your ass off. So
it's true. That's how I first met Chris and Adrian, is that I would message Adrian, having not met her before, saying, I discovered your channel. I'm laughing my ass off at 6:30 a.m. on the Red Line on my way into Cambridge, and no one understands what's happening, but this is the best thing ever, and I need to meet you. And now I would say she is a friend, and I can't wait to see her soon. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you go up and check out the wardrobe experience?
Yes. So one of my favorite parts was that the folks who curated that exhibit, who I got to chat with a little bit, they were lovely. Would have a photo of said item when we remembered it. And then you'd actually have the item right there. So there was one picture of Joe with his dad, and there was that black and gold jacket. And I just got teary-eyed, for his dad, right?
Yeah, that was a great photo to pick. For sure. But
I didn't know. I learned from listening to some other folks who had been reliving and rehashing BlockCon. I didn't realize that they were changing out that exhibit. So there were so many people who went back and saw different stuff. I didn't know that they were doing that. So at some point, I saw the ripped jeans, but I didn't necessarily see the overalls.
That was the other way. I saw it the other way around. I saw the overalls, but not the ripped jeans, because Donnie was still wearing the ripped jeans when I went to go look at the exhibit.
And how amazing that he was wearing those under his like track suit pants, right? Like we all had no idea. And then he like, rips them off, not quite stripper style, but yeah, that was quite a moment. But I think I would have gone back to see that more frequently if I knew they were changing up part of the displays. But it was cool to hear from the folks who curated that each of the guys brought stuff and they kept bringing stuff over and they kept expanding it. So I feel like there's got to be so much more. Like that display was so small compared to where's the Irish Power Jacket, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was hoping that Joe would have worn that on the solo Joe show that he did on St. Patrick's
Day. Yeah.
So I hope it's still around. I hope it's there.
But how amazing. Can I just go back to the show for 1 second?
Of course.
When they would show a video of a clip from 89, 90, and I'm thinking about Joe in that black and white striped jacket, and he comes out and he is mirroring the choreography in time with the video and then drops the hat.
So cool.
Lost my shit for sure. Like that was amazing. So little details like that they put into like Jared Paul faculty, all the people on his team that like put that whole thing together, whether it's the show or the fan experience, all the photo displays, the doll boxes, who thought of that?
That was so brilliant.
Such an awesome concept that we all could relate to, right? Like we all have those, right?
You knew when you walked into that theater for the first time that it was just like awe-inspiring looking at what they had put together, and they hadn't even started yet,
Yeah.
It was something.
And the fact that they had a couple of seats from the Boston Garden and I sat in them in Chicago, but I sit in those seats all the time. I go to the Garden all the time.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a little bit like meta, right? That I'm like a Bostonian, but I'm in Chicago, but I'm sitting in a Boston Garden seat. Okay. All right, cool.
That's very cool.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Dope Nostalgia listeners, I love you and I thank you so much for being a part of this show and its success over the last 2 years. We have what's called Patreon for those who want to support the show financially. For as little as $1 a month, you can become a subscriber and get bonus content, early podcast release, all kinds of cool behind-the-scenes stuff, and more. There's different tiers of membership starting at only $1 a month. And we even have some special merch for you guys who are in it for the long run. So please join our Patreon. It's at www.patreon.com/dope nostalgia.
With fashion plates, you can be a designer. A fashion plates fashion designer.
With fashion plates, I design the hottest looks. T-shirt, blue skirt, then change the plates and color too, for a look that's totally new.
And now there's new kits on the block fashion plates.
They're hot.
You're a fashion plates fashion
And there's fashion faces too.
With fashion faces, I design hairstyles and fresh new makeup looks with real
You're a
makeup.
fashion faces fashion designer.
Fashion plates, new kits on the block fashion plates and fashion faces, each sold separately.
What video would you want to see the guys react to at the next BlockCon? Like which YouTube videos?
YouTube videos. You mean like their music videos?
Could be music video, could be just, somebody's old VHS tape that they encoded into digital and threw up there, an appearance of the guys, anything.
So I have to tell you, I have a whole tote of those VHS tapes, and like somehow on like a word processor typed up a directory to all of them. And I think I recorded pretty much everything that they ever had on TV, but I've never digitized them. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. But anyway.
I know a person who can do it, but he lives in Canada, so that won't be very helpful for you.
It's like
there's companies.
I probably have a VCR to watch them on again.
If you have a VCR, you can do it yourself. There's stuff you can buy to do that. But anyway,
maybe like Dirty Dog, because that was filmed like with Rottweilers in Franklin Park, which was like near the zoo, which a friend of mine works at the zoo. So like I've been there a bunch of times, and just the like picturing them running through the park at night with these dogs. I don't know. I kind of think
I would love to see them react to Dirty Dog, because we got to ask Joe about why were you wearing ski goggles?
Absolutely.
And just like with the girls dancing, and they're just like, they're so grown up in this video that some of us weren't quite old enough yet to quite get it.
And they were
"What-
so
what's
trying
going
to
on?"
like change their image, right? Because they were growing up and they were trying to be like, I think back to how like badass Johnny his whole vibe was, right? Even like way before that. And now how he is the one that cries the most, that he has the biggest heart, that he is like the biggest softie, but just like how polarizing like his evolution as a human being is, I think is pretty incredible.
I like how you said that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. He encapsulates all the blockhead love in one guy. So just, I don't even know how to explain it. Oh, did you get up to any other Chicago activities while you were in town?
I think not so much. I mean, I know Carly had lived in Chicago previously, so she wanted a particular type of deep dish pizza. So I was like, wherever you want to go, like we will go there. So we got her pizza. I unfortunately can't eat pizza. Well, I can, but I can't have cheese on it, which kind of defeats the purpose of deep dish. I can't do the dairy, but I just got a thin crust, but it was quite good. But other than that, I think we really just were trying to see as many people as we could and being as present in the experience as possible. So
yeah. And that was the thing too, is like whenever you were planning to head somewhere, we'd always run into more friends and be caught up talking and catching up with them. And then it'd be like, where did everybody go? Oh, right. We were headed here. Okay. We'll see you later.
Right.
There's a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Which is what you want, just to be able to have those moments with people. And yeah. What are some of the biggest things that happened that stood out for you the whole weekend?
A lot of it was getting to, like you were just talking about, meeting the people or seeing people again who I've met through this fandom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, as we all get older, like we're growing old together, right? It is harder to make connections to people. And anyone that at least I have connected with, genuinely, we have this instant bond of a language that we understand that we don't have to explain to anybody, and we just get it.
Mm-hmm.
And to connect with folks like that, I feel like is so precious and so rewarding and feeds my soul. So I feel like, getting to meet people who I had interacted with online but never met in person. Like, can we talk for a second about the Jean Jacket girls? They made me a bead bracelet that said Deb Shaffron on it. I was like, shut up. They are the sweetest. And so they were saying that they're coming up to the Hyannis Joe show. So I was like, they were asking me about, planes, trains, and automobiles. So I was like, oh, you might want to look into the Cape Flyer. It's a train that goes from South Station that'll get you down to Hyannis. You won't need a car. You won't sit in gazillion hours of traffic. So we just got to connect instantly, and they were lovely. And that's a perfect example of someone that I had never met in real life and that I connected with. And I can't wait to get to know them better and see them soon.
I know. Aren't they sweet?
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same,
and same
way
with you.
you.
Like, I was just going to say, I feel the same way about you. We said it at the same time. Like, I got to know you just very briefly, but we got to go out and have dinner together or lunch together. Like those kinds of things, I just feel like are the part of the thing that people don't necessarily get. Like when I tell people I went to Chicago to go to a BLOCKCON, they're like, what? I'm like, well, it's the first ever New Kids on the Block band convention. They're like, they haven't done one of those before? I was like, no. And when they announced that, I was like, clearly, I've been a fan since 1988. I am supposed to be there. So I will go. Yeah.
Yes. That's been a funny experience too I think for all of us blockheads, is telling people where we were going. People who don't really give a fuck. But you know what I mean? Like I'm at the airport. I'm at the Chili's having a meal and a drink before I get on my flight. And the waiter asked me, where are you headed? Because that's what he asks everybody, right? And I'm like, I'm going to the New Kids on the Block convention. He's like, what? They're doing that? That is amazing. He goes, he bought me a free drink because he said that was the coolest story he heard all day of where someone was going.
Well deserved, for sure.
And then trying to explain to your friends they're like, where were you? I'll usually start, well, I was at a boy band convention. What do you mean? I'm like, yeah, the New Kids on the Block put on a convention. And then they're like, number one thing they usually say, were they guys actually there?
Yes, I get that all the time too. And then I'm like, not only were they there, they gave so much of themselves that like, I mean, obviously we're biased, right? Like we're very biased, but I don't know of any other band, group, artist that makes themselves as accessible and gives of themselves as much as we get from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I could go, like, I got that one selfie with Donnie at Wahlburgers on that Thursday. Didn't see any of them again. I mean, I saw them like at the panel and on the show, but like didn't get any close contact, you know, didn't get to be in a doll box with the guy whose name is on the box. Like so many people got that. And you know what? I'm psyched for those people that they got those experiences. But you know what that means? They need to bring back the doll boxes and have a better like system so we can all get in those.
I swear they'll do it. Because that was such a great idea. And they looked so good. You know? I'd bring down the brightness though on the lighting.
Of course, yeah, the yellow haze for sure.
I think it was harder to focus the camera a little bit with the haze of it, but it still looked really cool.
But maybe they do a thing like they did with the backdrop where they have the ring light, they have the staff person there to take it for you. Like when we did the mics on the stage, there was a staff person who took our photo for us. And I thanked him sincerely. Like, that was awesome, dude. Thank you for being there and like offering to take our photo.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, first time out, right? Like they did a phenomenal job.
First time out.
Obviously there's going to be some kinks to work out, but like overall, like kudos to the team and all of the people that made it happen because you fed the souls of all the blockheads. I think it's safe to say. It
was so well done. And we just want to say how much we appreciate all the work that went into it, you know, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. There, you know, any experience is a live and learn experience. So it's going to get better. And I know, I feel that it was successful. They'll probably keep doing them.
And how lucky were all those fans that got to play ball with them in the park? Like,
I love that.
What band rents out a minor league baseball park and just says, yeah, I'm going to hang out with 4,000 of my friends and we're just going to like run the bases together? Like, how fun is that? I've never heard of anyone doing that.
We filled the park with people. And I'm like, I want to be that girl who like ran and then fell and then got up and ran to the base anyway. And then Jordan and Donnie jump up and down with her.
Yes. She was like, I might be down, but I'm not done. Let's go.
She was inspiring. She got back up and finished.
Absolutely. As was the woman who got to dance with Donnie at home plate.
Yeah.
Oh, she did awesome. Whoever she is, she did an amazing job.
It was all good. So
absolutely.
Good. But what a wonderful way to wrap up the weekend with the ball game. It was just beautiful. Beautiful weather.
Yep.
It was watching the four of them walk away. Of course, Donnie was still hanging around doing stuff, but the other four watching them walk away back out to the entrance of the park. And I was like, bye.
I know we all get teary eyed in those moments, right? Like we're sad that it's over, but how lucky are we that we got to be there?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That we got to experience that together and that we got to share our love of these five guys who have had such a profound positive impact on our lives for decades.
We are lucky. We're blessed. Thank you, Deb, for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. You're fantastic. When are we seeing each other next?
Are you coming on the cruise?
Yeah.
I'll see you in a few months.
Yeah. See you on the boat. I think someone posted today. It's 4 months from today. We're getting on the ship.
Okay,
yeah,
sweet.
I'm going to see Adrian at Iowa. Apparently, I'm going to Des Moines for the weekend. Like, what?
Wonderful. That's great news. We'll try to put together a karaoke again before the cruise if I can. That's what I did last year.
Yeah. Carly and I will be down there the night before for sure.
Good. Say hi to Carly.
Carly's awesome. She is amazing. She's awesome.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Back to BLOCKCON. There'll be so much more content coming from some of our favorite blockheads in the New Kids universe. Remember, Dope Nostalgia is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work. See you next time.